God Squad, before I get to that interview, we are taking a real quick break so I can tell you all about Manscaped. Precision engineered grooming tools for, you guessed it, ear balls. Whether you have your own pair of furry family jewels or you just get to give them a squeeze on somebody else from time to time, no balls look or feel better than the ones that use Manscaped. Trust me. And now, just in time for the holidays, you can gift yourself or gift your favorite pair of balls the best buzz in the biz. Just visit Manscaped at manscaped.com. Use promo code Rocky for 20% off your next Manscaped order. That's manscaped.com, manscaped.com, and use promo code Rocky for 20% off your next Manscaped order. Get busy buzzing, boys.
I want to tell you about one of the best party games of all time. And I want to explain exactly how to play it because I love you. And I want to give you gifts and wisdom that'll make your life so hysterical. You want to play this game with a cap of 10 people, not really more than that. I encourage a cocktail or a general jovial spirit. Ganja is also recommended, but mostly a can-do attitude in the realm of good times. How the game works is sitting in a circle. One person gives the person to their left, this is clockwise, a scenario. The scenario can be anything from your car broke down in a blizzard and your phone is dead, to you're in Salem, it's witch hunting times, and you just came down from a magic mushroom trip where you talked about a dolphin and all this wild stuff you saw. You're telling your most trusted allies, but the witch hunters are overhearing everything you're saying, and your ass is about to head over to the Salem witch trials. After you're given your scenario, that person will hand you a cell phone. Just use one cell phone for the game. Make sure that cell phone's connected to the Bluetooth, and make sure you're playing with Spotify or Apple Music. No commercials recommended. Once you're given the phone, you pick a song that you would want playing during that made-up scenario, and you play that song for the group. Essentially, you're making a musical soundtrack for the scenario. You'll let the song play a little depending on how much people like it, and guess what? Usually everyone likes all the songs. You're going to be so pleasantly surprised by the song choices your people pick, and it's going to wow you. One-hit wonders, timeless classics. You can't get it wrong because it's your pick, baby. It's whatever you want. It's subjective. Unless you're playing with a bunch of absolute assholes, no one's gonna judge your song choice. Trust me. This is the second time I've played with my friends, and both times have been unreal. The name of the game, which is trademarked, is called Theme Song by Katie. Think of it like Beats by Dre. I hope you play this game with your favorite people. I hope you play this game with strangers. All I hope is that you play this game and have the most fun ever. And while you're at it, tag Wild Nights. This Saturday night, you already know, me and the gang, we played Theme Song by Katie. We played it at the most turned up after party for a 1-year-old's birthday party that I have ever been to. You gotta celebrate life, everybody. So we're out in the yard in Brooklyn, New York. I'm sure you've heard of it. And we're playing Theme Song by Katie. And I'm gonna tell you this. It wasn't even 9:30 p.m. and it was a Saturday night. It wasn't even quote-unquote the Lord's Day yet. But even if it was, have you ever been to a church? People love to sing in church. And this was our church. Because every song everyone picked for every scenario was better than the last. Someone picked Four Non-Blondes, What's Up? Now I love this song. Always have. It's my go-to karaoke song, and some people forget it exists until they hear it. But then when they hear it, they try. Oh my God, do they try? Not to sing along. Just kidding, everyone sings along with this song because that's how good it is. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you take your cups, half full or half empty, you may have that song stuck in your head for the rest of the day now. So we're singing and we're laughing, and all of a sudden from a window we hear this loud yelling. So we all stop singing and make out what this little biatch, and yes, she was a little biatch because she yelled down in Brooklyn, New York at barely 9:30 on a Saturday night, "Shut the fuck up. Oh, and you suck." Way harsh, Ty. Maybe we were a little loud, and maybe we didn't sound like young Linda Perry's, but we were happy. I saw an article once, I didn't read it, but the gist of the summary, which aren't articles basically summaries anyway? The gist of the article is, why do we have to be quiet in our own space so you can be comfortable in silence? Really think about it. I get courtesy. I really do. I don't even like to wash dishes if I know someone's sleeping in the other room, okay? My name should be Curtis. I'm so fucking courteous. But it wasn't an ungodly hour. And it was in the heart of the bustle of a Brooklyn neighborhood. Horns, highways, and yeah, a little high-pitched singing. Hurt people. And the venom that this little biatch spewed at us could only be spewed by someone who wanted to pass on their negativity. Next time someone is making too much noise in your neighborhood, ask yourself, isn't it nice that there's joy near me? I live in a place that attracts love and singing. I'm listening to laughter right now instead of, I don't know, a domestic dispute or a screaming match. A little noise won't kill you, I promise. We had to wind down anyway. But if you're wondering if she called the police, Yes, she did. Almost all of us had left, and my last friend who was leaving saw the cops approaching the door. We got a call about a noise complaint. Oh, no, I didn't hear anything. Well, if you do, tell them to keep it down. I personally was shocked to hear that they even showed up. That's usually not their thing. Laugh way more, people. Celebrate everyone you love, and hell, even celebrate the people you just kind of like. And for the love of God, play theme song by Katie.
Time for
Duh. Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, hello. Did you have a good week? I sure hope so. I hope it was chill if you wanted it to be chill, and turned the fuck up if you wanted it to be turned the fuck up. My week was not chill, but in a good way. If you're caught up on the pod, you know last week I had 3 very important birthdays in my life, and yes, I celebrated them all, some more than once. When I was out on Tuesday night, we were birthday bar hopping, and I'm not embarrassed to admit my friends abruptly told me the cab they ordered for me was now outside. That's right, my 2 friends were looking out for me because I had work in the morning. Yes, I'm a businesswoman, okay? My mornings are for business. But let's be clear, I was equally as drunk as them. And I love a free cab. Even though we all might have been a little sloppy, all these bars we were going in, there wasn't anything for me in there. It was a sausage fest, but the sausages weren't trying to fest with me. They were all gay for boys. And I'm walking around these bars with a first edition Georgia O'Keeffe between my hips. I had to go. And that's okay. I'm no cockblock, but I am a rock clock. That means I know when it's time for me to go home. And I wasn't sad because this week was party central. I do want to interject for 2 quick reasons. 1, speaking of birthdays, happy birthday to my cousin Fiona this week. I love you so much. And my second interjection, have you made that doctor's appointment yet, my lovely members of the Party God Squad? Yeah, you. I know you got a doctor's appointment on the back burner that you've been putting off to schedule, and that's enough. I had a routine doctor's appointment this week. And yeah, they're annoying. I'd argue it's even more annoying to schedule one than to go to one. But please, just do it. And to the people who do our vitals, all the nurse and nurse practitioners out there, I love you. Thank you for always making chit-chat. That blood pressure height portion is always made better when I find out a little bit of personal info about you, and I really mean that. And yes, When you ask me to step on that scale, I am going to take my shoes off when you weigh me. But these are Doc Martens, Doc Jr., and that weight addition will surely make any and all info inaccurate if you add these suckers in, so I'm just going to take them off. Give me a second, because you know your girl's double knotted. I don't care if you have to pause this show right now, and I risk your beautiful yet distracted brain not putting it back on. Make the doctor's appointment. Health first, baby. Now that you're back and so responsible, I'm so proud. Let me tell you about Thursday night. Shout out to Jared at the Spot in Hell's Kitchen. I was at the Spot for a drag show event with Whitney Wildrose from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, a show I am very much up to date on. She was co-hosting this drag show with drag queens Adriana Trenta and Marty Cummings. I got to chat with her. We had front row seats. It was just amazing from beginning to end. Being a drag queen must be the most fun. I think I would love it. But I have to bargain with myself to take my average amount of makeup off every night. To take off drag makeup would be what would take me out. I'd just be reapplying new makeup on top of old makeup. You would never see my real face again. So kudos to drag queens everywhere and your nighttime routines. For the drag show, we had wristbands that gave us a little more access in the beginning, catch my drift. And if you know me, in most instances, I am a socialist. A socialist playing a capitalist game. Free healthcare and college for all. Never let them tell you it's not possible. But, and I'm not proud of this, but I don't even know how to spell socialist when I get a wristband at an event. In the reality of the wristband world, only, of course, I do my own laundry, for God's sakes. I'm a woman of the people. I'm no elitist. But I might be a little bit of a venue wristband elitist. I just feel different when I'm wearing one, okay? Looking down at that VIP bracelet, my wrist, it's both glitter and gold. Will I turn into a pumpkin once I cut this paper from my body? Yeah, but in this moment, heavy is the wrist that wears the band. I've been thinking a lot about accents, and I wish people didn't use accents negatively. You know, making fun of people. There's been such a history of movies and TV shows and school bullies making fun of people for their accents that when you just want to break into a random one, that could be misconstrued as malicious when really your heart is good and you just want to test your skills overseas and sound different than the voice you listen to day in and day out. It's not an accent, but sometimes when I post for pictures, I say affirmations as if I'm Samuel L. Jackson. And let me tell you, those pictures come out better than when I don't do the Samuel L. Jackson affirmation voiceover in my head. Do you all know what an ookie cookie is? I never heard of it until a couple of days ago. It is when a group of gentlemen circle up around a cookie and jerk off onto said cookie. And then the last to finish eats the cookie. Yum, yum, yum. I can't believe I just learned about this. Absolutely fascinating. Listen, I'm not going to pretend I've never been served up a helping of creme de man before, but never upon a cookie. I didn't even know that was an option. All these years, men have had the knowledge that they could serve us a half-delicious dessert, and we're over here getting a chlorine-flavored amuse-bouche. It's rude. I don't want a cookie with multiple jizzes on it. I'm capable of ordering one thing off the menu. I don't need a buffet of pipe snot. But the ookie cookie, to have been kept a secret for this long, what else you hiding, fellas? That brings us to Rocky's highest thoughts, my most stoned thoughts of the week. Number 1, do you ever look around and then bam, all of a sudden you come to and you say to yourself, wow, where did I even go for the last X amount of days or months, or I hope not, but years? As if a part of your life was a dream. It's an odd feeling. My guess is it happens to us when our routine ends. But I'm no expert. Number 2, we could as a nation decide we're all in for a same time siesta, aka a nap in the middle of the day. It's more weird that that's something as a nation we could literally vote on and legislate as a majority, and yet here we are, awake at 1 p.m. Number 3, most stuff won't matter ever again, and some stuff you'll never forget. And number 4, do we think that prunes are mad that dates exist? My guest this week is comedian KJ Robinson. KJ's wild word was goofy, so you better believe his story is gonna match. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me at Wild Nights with Rocky on TikTok and Instagram, at Wild Nights Pod on Twitter. If you want to watch extended interviews with all of my guests, please subscribe to me on YouTube. You can support the show with your wallets by joining my Patreon for $2 or $5 a month. A big shout out to everyone who's written and everyone who will write a review once this episode is over on Apple Podcasts. It really does make a difference. And now, please enjoy my Wild Nights conversation with KJ Robinson. KJ, welcome. Thank you for doing the podcast.
What's up? Thanks for having me. How you doing?
Absolutely. This has been I feel like you and we've been talking for a couple months now, trying to lock something down. So I'm
Yeah.
just so pleased that it worked out and that I have you on the show.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, sorry about that.
No need for
Busy,
apologies.
busy West Coast man.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, so
Trying to figure it out.
you're originally from Detroit, but how recently did you move to LA?
Oh, real recent actually.
Mhm.
I'm only been out here for a couple years, so
Yeah,
I'm still adjusting a little bit. It's too nice.
it is the weather and
Too nice
everything.
out here. Yeah, it's too beautiful. I don't like it. I'm used to turmoil in my environment.
So how do you adjust from going from turmoil to beautiful weather?
You know what? A bag of candy has helped me smile more. So
Really?
whenever you eat something sweet, you usually keep a smile on your face. So that's usually how I've been adjusted.
Wow.
Because people tell me that I look like either tired or mean because
Mm.
I'm used to the wind blowing and making me not want to do anything. So
Wearing 4 coats just to walk to the store.
exactly that type of weather.
Yeah.
Where you got to call your grandmama to make sure she's not dead in the wintertime. You just
Yeah, somebody's got to check that pulse.
hello. Exactly. Hello, hey, and then you just hang up on her like she good, she's
She's
straight.
good. She's good. She's good. I gotta
Yeah.
put my gloves back on. Yeah, I do not like the cold, so I don't know how I would fare in Detroit because sometimes I don't fare well in New York. But I'm happy to hear that you're liking LA. I know
It's
people
not
out
bad.
there can be a little they're really networky, which I love and I think is great. But sometimes I get the vibe that LA is not quite as goofy as other places.
No, it's LA is weird, but yeah, Goofy is that
Goof-
reminds me of a story that I got into,
yes. Well,
a wild night that I had.
KJ's wild night or KJ's wild word was goofy. So KJ, let us
Yeah.
hear your wild night story, Goofy.
All right. So this is back in the Midwest. So this is a couple years ago. This is a long time ago actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say a couple years ago. This is a long time ago.
Okay.
So I was hanging out with my cousin. It was me, my cousins, and my little brother. My little brother, he's like maybe like 7 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
But he was at the time he was like what was he like 17, 18 or something like
Yeah.
that. So I'm in my 20s or whatever. I'm hanging out with my young brother, one of my young cousins. Actually, one of my young cousins and one of my cousins that's like the same age as me. So we all hanging out. We in Detroit. Yeah, you know what? I used to always try to take my brother out and just show him the ropes and
Yeah.
always like teach him how to be responsible. But you got to throw him in the fire to teach him how to be responsible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to take him. I was a terrible brother. I used to take him to frat parties and stuff. I was a terrible guy. But no. So this night we were all hanging out. We were in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
But before that we were like at home kicking it. It's like, hey, what should we do? We gotta get out tonight. Let's figure out something. So we had already had started drinking before we had left. So then we end up where was we at? We was like Eastern Market, Detroit. We started in this Eastern Marketplace,
Okay.
which is at the time it's like a project like right down the block from
Uh-huh.
there. So it's in between the projects and it's in between like one of the cool high schools, Cass Tech, which is like a prominent high school in the city that a lot of people don't went to. So
Gotcha.
you got this cool part of the city, and then you got the projects right there. So we like in between wild stuff.
Hmm.
So we in this area, and one of our homeboys was like, "It's this party at this warehouse. It's a warehouse party. The warehouse party is cool because it mixes like hipster white kids and hood black kids.
Hmm.
So we at this warehouse party. You got the hood DJ. He's spinning. He throwing the little EDM in there, and then
Yeah.
you got the hipster white kids that's like, yeah, man, let's leave Royal Oak
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
come kick it in the city.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
know a spot. I know a spot.
and you know what? Those are the best parties though, because you get best of both
Oh,
worlds.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to see some cool, weird. You get to see cool dancing, weird dancing. The drink selection is a little crisp, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a
Yeah.
couple of pilsners, then you get that weird off-brand from some brewery that some white cousin had made. You're like, what is
You
this?
gotta try this IPA, man. You gotta try this
Exactly.
IPA. Yeah.
The wild IPA with peach and burgundy or whatever. You're like, why is burgundy
Yeah.
in this drink?
I don't think we're supposed to
So
drink burgundy.
exactly. I'm like, that's you can flavor burgundy? He's, oh
Oh,
yeah, we do it all the time, buddy. I'm like, okay, bet.
okay.
So it was like the drinks was cool. We in there hanging out, little music. We meet up with our homeboy. He talking. So this homeboy, I think was it Eddie Mo? I forget if it was Eddie Mo or not. Was one of our homeboys that's
Mhm.
always like, you ever had that friend that like talks a lot and half of the stuff he's saying is not true at all?
Yeah, for sure.
But it sounds real amazing every time you see him. You're like, oh yeah, man, I just been getting money. I was in a Lexus last week. You're like, you never was in a Lexus.
You did walk past the Lexus dealership, but you wasn't in a Lexus. Yeah.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
probably saw a Lexus. You probably saw somebody in the Lexus that you knew,
Yeah.
but you didn't drive.
Yeah.
So, we was hanging out with that friend, and we were like, we were just dancing, hanging out,
Yeah.
drinking, having a good time, and then it turns into that night where it's like, all right, we got to get some girls.
Hmm.
We got to get some girls.
It's time.
And so when we get into that mode, because after you have a couple drinks, you start feeling what we like to call the swag.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when you feel real good. You feeling smooth. You're not drunk yet. You like tipsy, but a little bit tight. Real
Gotcha. You got a
a
rhythm.
tight tip. Exactly. You can still do a couple math problems if you need
Hmm.
to.
Hmm.
Like if somebody's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need $8 to go to the store," you like, "No, you don't. You only need 682. I'm not giving you that other dollar and something,
Or
whatever."
I want my
Anywho,
318 back. What are you talking?
exactly,
Yeah. Here's a 10. Give me my
exactly.
318.
Yeah. So that's you had to be on tip. So anyway, we feeling good, and it's like, oh, we see some girls we looking at, and my little brother. This is where my little brother gets like the most confident.
Hmm.
He's still young. He like 16, 17 at the time. So he like, oh, I'm gonna go holler. So he like go talk to whatever girl. It was funny because we could tell him anything. We'd be like, hey Dale, go do this. He'd be like, all right, I'll do it. Yeah. So he
Just
was like,
excited to be there.
he didn't care.
Yeah.
He was little starter pistol. He was like, yeah,
Yeah.
let me do it. So he goes and talks to like these older girls, and he didn't get no play. He didn't get no play. I don't know what he said, but he went over there. He was trying to dance with him or whatever. And
Yeah.
you ever see the stiff arm? I don't know if you did.
I had to do the stiff arm quite a few times.
Exactly. I was wondering. I don't know if you ever had to stiff arm a dude before,
Yes.
but he got a couple of those, and it was funny because he was like my brother. He's actually taller than me now,
Hmm.
but at the time he wasn't taller than me. He was probably like my shoulder height.
Let the record show.
So it was funny seeing them get turned down by girls.
Yeah.
But we always getting turned down. That was the crazy thing. We all was getting turned down by girls. It was just weird. I didn't have my I didn't have my hipster swag yet at the time. I didn't
Gotcha.
really know how to talk to hipster women.
Hmm.
I didn't know you lead with like, name of a flower or something like that, or you got to go in with the Maroon Five song in your head. You got to start singing that before
Yeah.
you get to the girl. Then she be like, "Oh, is that Sunday morning?" And you like,
Yeah.
"Yup."
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But I didn't have a game yet, so
Yeah.
we striking out with all of the girls, and then one of our homeboys was like, "Hey, it's another spot down the street we could go to. That's jumping. It's supposed to be girls there like." It's wild. So we like,
Yeah.
okay, this spot is dead.
Let's go.
And the spot wasn't dead. We were just losing. That's all that
Gotcha.
was. Like the
Yeah.
spot,
Yeah. Yeah.
the spot was great actually. The music was right. It was one of those places where like they had like it was like a couch section. It was like a little balcony type thing, and then outside they had a little fire going.
Yeah.
Like it was actually really dope. We just sucked at the time. Like
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
us sucked.
It wasn't. Yeah. You couldn't get on the wavelength.
Exactly. We just had terrible game at that spot.
Yeah.
But it was a cool spot. So we end up leaving, and then on the way to the other spot, my brother he ends up getting like he was drinking his little he was drinking he shouldn't have been, but whatever.
Yeah.
We're not here to talk about that. So
This is the show where we protect the innocent and the not so innocent. So he could drink all he wants. He could drink all he wants in this story.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. I like that. I like that rule right there.
Yeah.
So we get to the spot. He peeled. He in the back seat drunk, peeled. He like, oh man, I can't. I don't know. I think my belly hurt. We like, oh. So he in the back of the car, stretched out. It's just me, my cousin, and my two cousins.
Uh-huh.
So we get out. We go to this part. These people are having a party inside of a synagogue or something. It's like a church
Oh, like a
or something.
Freemason temple?
I think so. It was either that or it was like a Jewish temple or something.
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
forget. But it was not a regular Baptist, regular Christian church. Let's just
Yeah.
say that.
Gotcha.
They had multiple floors. It
Tile.
was all kind of, yeah. It was scrolls in there. It smelled like they mopped. Like it was a good little church spot.
Yeah.
And they was in there having a bomb party. It was a lot of people. I was like, damn, I didn't know the church be banging. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was slapping. We get there, there's people all over the place. We in there, we like, dang, are we gonna get in? Is it free? What's up?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, you just got to get in there. So we get inside. It's packed. It's wall to wall people. You can barely move. We in there. We in there kicking it. And when you first get in the party, you got to hug the wall. You got
A
to
little
get
bit.
on
Yeah.
the wall. Got to get on the wall and then just see.
Scope it out.
And this was way wilder than where we came from. It was people in there with no shirts off,
Oh.
doing the go-go dancing with the little strobe lights, like
Oh, go go. Yeah, go go
mm.
dancers.
Yeah, well, they had that. Um, you could smell the powder drugs in the air. You could smell
Gotcha.
all the
Gotcha.
powder. I'm
Gotcha.
like,
Gotcha.
okay,
Winter was
all right.
coming. Yeah, winter was coming.
Yeah, Winter on his way. Matter of fact, Winter was there with a
Winter was
tray,
there.
like
It was a blizzard.
mustard. Like it was offering cool shit to people. It was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, that party was wild. And so we in there, it's like wall to wall people. We can't move. I'm talking to my cousin. I'm like, yeah, this. I was like, this the one right here. He's like, oh yeah, this the one. He's smooth too. So we was like, all right, let's you got to you got to do your party rounds.
Yeah.
Get on the wall. You see what's going on. Then it's like, all right, I'm gonna go left. You go right.
Yeah.
So we walked through, and it was just crazy. Like everybody was in there dancing wild, and everybody had a shirt off. Like dudes would have a shirt off, girls would have their shirt off.
Yeah. It was that type of party.
yeah, and I had never. It was like I'd never been at a party that was that wild.
Hmm.
And I've been to some wild parties. Like I went to a Halloween party, but it was like a hippie Halloween party, and those parties get really crazy. Okay,
Mm.
those you ever you ever want to go to a real party, go to a hippie Halloween party.
Yeah.
They're great because for some reason, Halloween and hippies make just great food and drinks. So I don't know what it is about Halloween hippies, but they love to cook good stuff at that time. Don't go
Okay.
in December because it's not gonna be
It's not gonna be the
so.
same.
Yeah, October is great though.
October is great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So so yeah, we in the party, man, and everything is like everybody dancing, wilding, and people are like outside. So like you can't stay inside too long because there's too many people. It's hot.
Yeah, it's packed.
Like everybody's dancing. It's real tight. So we go outside and we see these two girls. Me and my cousin, we see these two girls. Like, was it two or three? It was only two. Matter of fact, it's two.
Yeah.
So these two girls talking or whatever. We go up to them. We start talking. They cool. Whatever. Woo de woo. I'm KJ.
Mhm.
Such as this is Angie. Such and such. This is Tina. Yada yada.
Yeah.
And so we get to talking, and it's a cool little conversation. We ain't really talking about much. My cousin is like we get to talking to him, and he's like, nah, I'm good. So he kind of like wander off towards some other girls he see.
He wasn't even trying to wingman right there.
Yeah, nah, he left me hanging. He was like, yeah, bro, you're gonna have to do this one dolo.
Gotcha.
No wingman. But you know what? My cousin is actually a cool wingman. But he did. These girls was like they was cool, but they wasn't really like speaking his language.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin, he's like sometimes he be assertive. He like real like extra assertive. He asks unnecessary questions sometimes. Not
They
like what's your social yeah, not like what's your social security number type questions, but more like what time is your shift at work and shit. He's like, oh yeah, you work third shift? Like that's a little too invasive at the time when you first meet.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's been 5 minutes. Now you know my whole
Yeah,
schedule. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, you just need the job title. You don't need to know when they're supposed to be there and who their supervisor is.
Yeah. You bring a
So
lunchbox or you order in?
exactly, you
Yeah.
don't need all of that.
Yeah.
That's too much. But I'm still talking. So we get the little chit chatting, and then my other cousin he called me over, so I go over to him and talk to him for a second because he was mad. So my other cousin, he was mad. He was like, "Yeah, man, it ain't no hoe trying to holler at me, none of that, man. This is some
Yeah.
bullshit, bro." And he's young too. He's probably like a couple years older than my brother, but he was like 21 though at the
Hmm.
time. So he was just like, "Man, this is whatever." He was just there, just angry, mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, "All right." So I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Bro, chill. It's cool. Like we hanging out. We gonna hang out again. He a little drunk, whatever."
Yeah. Yeah.
Tight. So I turn back to talk to the girls, and then it's these dudes talking to him now. It's a dude on a bike. It's a guy on a bike, and then there's some other dude, which I think it was his homeboy.
Very important. Was it a motorcycle or was it a bicycle?
It was a bicycle.
Got it.
Yes, it was
Just
not. No, no.
for visuals.
It was a bicycle, but it was like an old school bicycle with the handlebars like you got to hold them like this,
Oh,
not
okay.
like a real like a modern bike. It wasn't a modern bike. It was one of those old terrible bikes. Like it might have had a basket on it, and he took it off. Like yeah, it was getting
How
the basket
vintage.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this guy but he was dressed weird. I don't think he was at the party. I think he just was like riding past, and he's like, "Oh, it's some little chicks out here. What's
Yeah.
up?"
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because he had on shorts. He had on a white beater
Mm-hmm.
and a baseball hat. But he had like a weird. He had like he had some shoes on that didn't match his outfit, like some
Right.
shoes you wouldn't wear with shorts and a white beater. He was just out of place.
Yeah.
But he had all the confidence in the world, though. He was talking to the girls I was talking to. He was just saying all kind of wild stuff. He was like, yeah, I got four. He said he had 14 kids. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, bruh.
With those shoes?
Like what are you doing, man? What
Yeah.
even with the shoes, but it was just like, who walks up to two girls, you start talking to them, you trying to get information from them, and you start divulging that you got 14 kids. Who talk
Yeah.
like that? This is like the dude version of Mother Hubbard over here. This guy's a goofball.
Yeah.
And you can so like and these are like my favorite times though, when like you talking to a girl and then another dude is talking to a girl, same girl you talking to, but then you can see on the girl's face that like they vision like they hate this dude. It's like
Yeah.
exactly like what?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so I can see on the girl's face, uh this girl, her name is Tina. And so she had to like this dude is weird and crazy. And so I walk over and I pretty much say, I was like, "Oh, what's up, homie?" It's like, ain't nothing thing, bro. I'm over here, discussing and trying to get with these robust ladies right here. I
He
said,
called
"You
them
said robust?"
robust?
Yeah, he was weird. He was trying to sound real like a player, but it didn't
Yeah.
really work out for him.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh yeah, what y'all getting into?" And then old girl was like, just like, "Oh, he was just telling us about his 14 kids." And he was like, "Yep, 14 of them. My son, he just went to jail." I was like, "What the? Oh, hold on." I was like, "Oh yeah, we in the city right now. We in
Yeah.
the D right now."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh yeah, this dude got all the flavor." And so I interject myself in the conversation, basically save him out, just like poking holes in the dude. Uh, I was poking holes in his story,
Yeah.
basically. I was like, "Yeah, you got 14 kids." I was like, I mean, it's like, "How many baby mamas you got?" He was like,
Yeah.
three, or I think I got three or four. I said, "How you think you got? What do you mean you think you get? That's not a phrase that goes with that, sir."
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think I got about three or four baby mamas. But my other baby mama, she had, she stole from me. I'm like, oh man, this dude. Then I just started talking to the girls. I was like, we about to go to this other spot, right? Y'all going over there, right? And it's like, yeah, we about to go over there right now.
Gotcha. Yeah. 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 You swooped in and saved him.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I was telling them about the place where we just came from,
Mm-hmm.
before I stepped away from 'em. And but the one of the girls, she had already knew about it, and they just hadn't been over there yet. So I was like, cool, yeah, we can go over there and kick it, yada yada yada. So
Yeah.
it was that dude on the bike. He was goofy. He ended up riding off. He was like, all right, then, and just rode off into the nightfall, like a just like a goofy vampire.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like goofy, like vampires are real. Just like they swoop in real fast, get what they going. They vicious, do their thing. But this dude was like a goofy vampire. He's like
Yeah.
stumbling.
Yeah.
You could tell he wanted to get some. He was mission failed. He's like, all right, then let me get out of here.
He was trying to have 15 kids.
Yeah, if he was lucky,
Yeah.
maybe 16 because it was two girls. He's like, look, both of y'all could get me one, and I'm gonna smoke this black and mild doing it. So it was just a
The
that
voice you're doing,
it was.
all I can picture is Cat Williams. That's the voice. The voice.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Cat, that's one of my favorite comics. Yeah.
He's the best.
Oh yeah, he's great. But you know what? That guy, yeah, he deserves a cat type voice because he was still a smooth dude. Like the way he
Yeah.
swooped in, he was still smooth,
Mm-hmm.
but all his information was just unnecessary and unverified. And I
Yeah.
don't, and I just had to, I just had to come out on top with that one. He was just a goofy guy.
Well, what you did was good to the women too, because that is something, I feel like women can pick up on energy really well, where there's been
Mhm.
books written about it where we go with our instincts a lot of the time, or we can sense that stuff is off. So when
Mhm.
some dudes really do know that women are being kind of not harassed but bothered by annoying
Hmm.
energied men. It is
Oh
nice when
yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, did you want to come to this party? We're all going to this party, right? And just save them out of the situation and keep them safe. That's always great.
Oh yeah, for sure. You gotta think on your feet,
Think on your feet.
be positive. Think on your feet, be positive, and I like to be cordial. Like
Yeah.
that's one of the things that like it's part of my honor, if I
Yeah.
must say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always try to practice that, and just be cordial with women, and always help out, and not even like, even if I'm not even talking to a girl, I would do
Yeah.
that. If I see it, like,
Yeah.
because you can see it on y'all face.
Yeah.
Y'all be like, this thing, what?
Yeah. And
Huh,
sometimes
what? You said your
exactly.
name is Richard? Oh, I don't really talk to Richards. Like,
Yeah. This is too weird. So you got them out of the party. Did you ever end up seeing this guy again?
no, that dude was no, like I said, vampire. Like he
Vampire.
was just a goofy on a bike vampire. He didn't even ride off fast. He rode off real slow.
I didn't picture him riding off fast. I'll tell you that much. I just pictured his hands up high and just pedaling
It's just
really
like
slow. Yeah. And maybe the
he was
basket's
yelling
back
stuff.
and he's got
Oh
a
yeah.
boom box in the basket, or he's got a CD player hanging from the basket if he brought the basket back. You know what I'm saying? Like that is what that dude would do. Was the other party good when you went back there?
Actually, yeah. So we went back to the other party. I ended
Huh?
up getting the phone number from one of the girls, and yeah, we ended up kicking it or something later on. But that's
Good.
another story. Y'all don't need to know anything about that. Let's just say it was a happy ending
Happy
to
ending to
a
a wild
to
night.
a goofy ass to a goofy night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I like it was so long ago, but like that second party was so wild and crazy because
Yeah.
it was a party inside of a church, but people really was doing crazy, like, wild shit in
Yeah.
there. Like the dancing was weird, but that's just hipster dancing. I don't even know how to explain hipster dancing.
Yeah.
That's a realm of its own. That right
Yeah.
there
A
is
whole other
that's a unique
category.
place.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a unique place that a lot of people can't get to, but when they do,
They get there.
it's very beautiful.
I went to once there's a place in Brooklyn called the McKibben Lofts, and they're
Oh yeah.
they're loft apartments that I haven't been to in a long time, but I used to go to parties there, and there was one party there, like you said, it was very every type of person. It wasn't just like, and it was very varied and who was there, even
Hmm.
age wise too. It was like people in their early 20s to people in their late 30s. Like it was just
Oh,
a
okay.
big mixture of people. They had a DJ, but then they also had live music. And then
Oh snap.
yeah, it was crazy. But the upstairs bedrooms, if you went upstairs, you had to crawl. Like you couldn't, I swear to God, you couldn't just walk upstairs. That it was literally like you would, if you lived in that bedroom, you would crawl to your bedroom. But I remember being at this party, having a good time. And then there was in the band, this kid just came out and he had like a wolf costume on, but his chest was bare, but his arms were like wolf arms, and then it was a wolf head. And then he kind
What?
of, yeah, it was like a soft costume, but he was the only one. It wasn't like a furry situation or anything like that. It was like
Right.
he
He
was the
was the
the
only
one that
lone furry.
he was literally the lone wolf. And so he's in this costume. He's in this costume. His whole chest is out, and the Michael Jackson yell that's just like ah! When he opens his
Oh
shirt,
yeah.
that was what this kid did. He just the
He
band
just
and the band knew about it because they stopped the music. He came on stage, does this big yell like he's Michael Jackson himself, and then he walked off stage and continued to party. But it was like he just had to howl at this party. So I get it when you say you walk into a party. Some people can't even, and now this was at a church, but some people can't even comprehend what is going on. Do you ever think about that
Right.
when you're walking past apartments and houses and stuff? Would you ever think, oh, there could be some really weird shit going on in there? And there probably is.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, I've been in neighborhoods like that all the time, where it's just like, you walk past, like, you either hear something in a house or you
Hmm.
just see a weird shaped house. You'd be like, why is this house shaped like this, or why is it colored like that? It's got to be something. Plus, I watch a lot of movies, so my imagination is terrible.
Goes wild.
Yeah, so I watch way too many movies, and so I'm always thinking about what people are doing in their house, what they
Yeah.
eating,
Yeah.
what they cooking and messing up. Like, you know what? They don't know how to make a turkey right in that house, right? I could tell.
Yeah. It smells bland.
It smells bland, but they front porch is dirty, so they can't cook in their house. If your porch dirty, you can't cook. Okay, so clean
Wow.
clean your porch
Where does
and
that
cook
logic
better.
I love that logic, but where does that logic come from?
Experience.
Wow.
That's what
Wow. Okay.
everybody's
Trial and
house I've ever
error.
been to. Yeah, if your porch was dirty, and every time I went over somebody's house, if they had the dirty porch, they couldn't cook. They always ordered out or something,
Mhm.
or it was like some food that somebody outside the house made. They're like, oh yeah, my auntie made this mac and cheese. You be like, oh, this is good. Who made this? Somebody not in this house with this
Yeah.
dirty porch. That's
It
why.
was okay. That's really, I'm going to keep that in mind. And obviously, now if I ever go to someone's house and their porch is dirty, I know what my first thought's going to be. That's crazy. Now, not as many porches in LA. I mean, maybe there's balconies
Oh,
and stuff. Not as many porches though. It's probably a lot more. It's more city vibes. What are you
hmm
finding to be the biggest difference in doing comedy in LA than doing comedy in Detroit? What's the biggest difference for you?
the biggest difference. What would I say is the biggest difference? The crowds are a little different. In the Midwest, and in Michigan in particular, because it's like in Michigan, there's only like really a couple cool cities. Like you got Detroit, you got Ann Arbor,
Hmm.
Lansing, Grand Rapids, but in between all of that is like a lot of country areas.
Hmm.
So some of the crowds when you traveling doing jokes, it's a lot of like red state type of crowds, or like conservative crowds.
Yeah.
So the material is a little different than
Yeah.
in California is a little bit more liberal. So like in Michigan, you get away with a lot of more stuff
Gotcha. Okay.
just because they conservative, but they old school conservative. So
Yeah.
they don't really care too much about some of the things you say. Where out here in California, a lot of people like taper their act, or they're very weary to not bash a group, or
Yeah.
just say certain things about certain subjects. So I mean, there's still people that say whatever they want out here
Of
for sure.
course. Yeah. But they would
Uh,
probably, yeah, and those types of comedians probably really thrive in places that are a little more red too, because I have heard that. I have heard a lot that going across America, there's some spots where it's just like you can really get away with saying whatever. And
mhm,
in some ways that's amazing. It's like,
mhm.
and then in other ways you're like, "Oh, I could see why that could be super harmful if it goes too far."
Right.
But that's really interesting actually. So what do you have on the docket? What do you have coming up next for everybody?
Next, I am doing a show at the Ontario Improv,
Hmm.
which is like in the IE part of California,
Uh-huh.
and I'm doing that November 2nd, which is I'm on a lineup with a lot of cool, great comics.
Yeah.
That should be fun. I don't think I'm closing that one out though. I think I'm like featuring that one. So, but if you're in the area, if you're in the IE, come check me out.
Hmm.
Also, I will be dropping a comedy special soon too. So I'm
Amazing.
finishing up the little touches, editing with that with my homeboy, and yes, that should be out in a couple days actually. So look
Couple
out for that on
days.
YouTube. KJ comedy special.
Perfect. Well, I will definitely promote it on my end, especially if it's coming out in a couple days. That will be right in tune with the episode. So that's perfect timing. KJ, I
Hmm.
gotta say, I really appreciated your story. I really appreciated finally having you on. This was great talking to you. And
Oh yeah,
thank
for
you for,
sure.
yeah, thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah,
Yeah. Before we
Instagram
go,
is a wonderful thing.
Instagram is a wonderful thing. And speaking of Instagram, before I sign off, let everybody know how they can follow you on your social medias.
Oh, at how to be KJ on IG, Twitter, the whole nine. That's me. I'm at how to be KJ.
Perfect. So follow KJ, and KJ, thank you so much for doing the show. We'll talk soon, all right?
Thank you. Yes, and yeah, remember, persevere, even though there's wild stuff happening around you, because you can get the number, if you put your mind to
There we go. Wise words from KJ. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. Bye.
it.